Hi there, folks. I want to show you a quick case study here, and I also want to highlight what is available to you guys and gals when it comes to kind of creative stuff. I've created a ton of presentations over the years. I've conducted well over 1,000 presentations over the last 25 years, so I think I know how to communicate some rather complex topics when it comes to life insurance, annuities, and long-term care, when it comes to presenting those to clients. So with that, an agent came to me a couple weeks ago and said, Charlie, I have this prospect and he is getting a business buyout. He will have income to the tune of $400,000 per year for the next 5 years. So $2 million coming in over a 5-year period of time, $400,000 chunks coming in. And I immediately thought this could be a good opportunity for annuity bucketing. Annuity bucketing is a great idea that Wade Pfau talks a lot about. And really he talks about it in the framework of, we're in a low interest rate environment today, right? If you had dumped $2 million into an annuity today, that may be a good thing. But it may also be, well, it certainly is, locking that client into today's annuity pricing. What if interest rates skyrocket over the next 5 to 10 years? Wouldn't it have been nice to keep a little powder dry so that 5 years from now you could maybe put into the annuity that exists 5 years from now? So I started thinking about annuity bucketing. You have a 56-year-old client. He wants to retire at age 67. So the annuity bucketing, a lot like bond laddering, what it will allow us to do is, well, diversify your annuities, right? And by the way, one topic of conversation that came up was this, is Charlie, if my client wants to retire 11 years from now, you're talking about GLWBs, Charlie. So the client puts in a chunk of money, they're guaranteed a chunk 11 years from now. And yes, there are roll-up assumptions along the way, and the client's guaranteed a pretty good amount of income. What's better? Is that better? Or is kind of the two-phase approach better, to where you grow the client's money, then maybe look at a single premium immediate annuity, for example, at retirement time? So this is kind of the inverse of what I just talked about with today's low interest rate environment. So I'll kind of speak the other direction now. I was in the variable annuity world back in 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010. I saw the variable annuity world implode. Huge benefits were being offered by variable annuity companies in 2006, 2007, 2008. And I will tell you that if one could go back and buy variable annuities of the 2007, 2008, 2009 vintage, I do not know of many consumers that would not do that. I hear it all the time. Man, that annuity that ING had at the time, which is where I spent 12 years at, if I could buy more of those, if I could go back in time and buy more, then I certainly would. So that is my way of saying, either way, let's diversify over 5 buckets. But I do not 10 years from now want to look back with my clients and say, man, those wonderful annuities, that Athene, the Athene Ascent Pro 10 bonus, I wish I had given more of those to my clients, because yes, interest rates could increase and these products could get a heck of a lot more attractive, or other things could happen. Everybody could live for a gazillion years. These products could be repriced, and a lot like how we're looking back now, how 2007, 2008 had wonderful products, that could be the case 10 years from now. So the point is you can't go wrong for the most part if you put in, say, $200,000 of the client's $400,000 this year, $200,000 next, $200,000 the next, $200,000 the next, $200,000 the next, and that is what I propose for the agent. So let's look at what I put together here for this particular agent, because that's kind of a complicated story, right? First and foremost, anytime we're selling GLWBs, I think you need an anchor point. You need some sort of a start. You need to level set with the client. And that level setting is, what are the traditional rules of thumb? So Steve, if you otherwise kept your $200,000 in a stock and bond portfolio, for example, today you're age 56, you want to retire at 67. If you otherwise had just kept your money in this portfolio, and let's say it did 7% per year, so thus it grows to $420,000, at that point in time, we follow the old 4% rule of thumb, even though that's outdated today. But William Bingham back in 1994 coined the 4% rule of thumb from a stock and bond portfolio. That means assuming all of this goes rosy, you will be able to take out $17,000 in your first year of retirement. But here's the thing, again, as we just talked about, industry experts, very profound industry experts like Wade Pfau, for example, is saying that 4%, it doesn't even apply anymore. No, because of low interest rates, we're talking about 2.4% here, right? 2.4%. But regardless, I'm going to be generous to the stock and bond portfolio. We're going to stick with 4%, and around $17,000 is the dollar amount, assuming everything goes rosy within your portfolio. But here's the thing, not everything all the time goes rosy, right? As a matter of fact, we had the lost decade, 2000 to 2010. Over that period of time, the S&P 500 dropped over the entire 10-year period of time. It dropped by 22%. And that excludes dividends. When you include dividends, it was basically flat over that period of time. Ideally, doesn't always happen. This scenario that I just showed you, Mr. Client, is the ideal assumption. That does not always happen. So let's say your $200,000, it doesn't grow. That means you only get $8,000 per year or in that first year of retirement, assuming the 4% rule here, right? Now, what if I told you to forget all of that? And by the way, we're just taking the first bucket here because I want to show you a microcosm of the bigger picture. Your $400,000 that's coming in every year for the next 5 years, we're going to take half of that and put it into an annuity. And yes, you have other assets out there, but I'm going to show you the power of using an annuity with half of this money that you have coming in which we're going to bucket out over 5 periods of time. That $200,000 today, we're going to put it into an Athene Ascent Pro 10 bonus annuity. By the time you're 67, you will be guaranteed not $17,000 like I just showed you, but $20,250 per year for the rest of your life. Your $200,000 grows to $450,000 from an income-based standpoint. So we're talking purely when it comes to income. You multiply that times 4.5%. We are talking, I don't know how much percent that is above $17,000, but you can lock that in today. Absolutely guaranteed. So that one bucket there is a microcosm of what I would propose doing with the 5 buckets of money that you have coming in. And here's a quote from Wade Pfau here that I won't read off, or from Wall Street Journal that quotes Wade Pfau. It's a great quote. Okay. So what do we propose? What we propose is bucket 1, bucket 2, bucket 3, bucket 4, bucket 5. Each of your $400,000 you have coming in every year, will shave off half of that and put that into an annuity. Now I'm assuming the same annuity here in my assumption. So beware, annuities are certainly going to be different in year 2 than where they are today. Annuities are going to be different year 3 from where they are today. And the goal is, because we're bucketing, the goal is for annuities to actually be better than they are today. Right? But I can't guarantee that. I'm just going off of, okay, with bucket 1, what's the annuity look like that we will put in today? Bucket 2, what's the annuity look like that we have today, right? So there is an assumption there. But here's what I propose. $200,000 over a 5-year period of time, per year that is. And by the end of the 5-year period of time, you would have put $1 million total into the annuity. Now, based off annuity pricing today, here is what we want to do. We want to ladder it out. So the first chunk, that bucket 1, we are going to take income at age 67. And that income is $20,250 per year. But here's the thing, that second chunk, which the number is going to be different than this. We're just going off the numbers here today. That second chunk, that second $200,000 we put into, that we're actually going to defer a couple extra years, actually until age 70, then we start taking income. That's going to give you an additional $22,560 for a total income, new income, this bucket, plus this bucket equals $42,810. We're going to do the same 3 years later with that third bucket, the same 3 years later, the same 3 years later. And if you were to live to age 90, for example, how much would you have gotten in income from your total of $1 million in annuity purchases? You would have gotten $2,185,200 by using that laddering strategy. Now, if you had invested your money into the stock market, and if the stock market had gone crazy, 10%, 15%, 20%, if we know that's going to happen, I would say go into the stock market. But what annuities hedge is longevity. And once you get to age 80, 85, 90, that's where these numbers really start to look good because of, well, you bought annuities for the reason that you wanted to buy an annuity, which is to hedge your longevity. And by the time you are, age 79, you will be guaranteeing yourself an additional $125,550 in addition to Social Security for the rest of your life, assuming, of course, certain product assumptions for bucket 2, 3, 4, 5. Folks, that's just kind of an outline, some ideas wrapped up there, as well as some of the creative stuff that I can help you find folks with. Let me know if you have any questions.